Hi, my name is Janna Denton-Howes, and I am a sex and intimacy coach for married women. And I was asked an excellent question just the other day, and I want to respond to it because I think a lot of women are experiencing the same question. So here's what it was. Why is low sexual desire in women a woman's job to fix? This is made to be a woman's problem. It's unfair because men don't have to address it. There is nothing that they need to do. And furthermore, I'm resentful that amongst all the other things, housework and groceries and kids and all of the things, this is one more thing that I have to think about. And why isn't there a class called How to Seduce Your Wife? Like, do I have to do everything, including seduce my wife, seduce myself? So this is a such a good question. So I think the reason why it seems a little bit skewed just from all the stuff, all the videos, all the blog posts, all the social media stuff I put out there is because I've chosen to speak to one person, which is the woman. And that's just from a practical standpoint. It would be incredibly hard for me to just always be switching back and forth between men and women, especially because what the words that men use that I could relate to them with and the way I would communicate would be different than to what. So we're just looking at some logistical standpoint. I have chosen to speak to women, and so I am just speaking to women. I will often say to women in the Wanting It More program when we get on live group calls, I'm like, look, I'm telling you this, but if I was talking to your husband, I would probably be saying something different. Or I would also be telling him to, do all the things. I also really believe that women are a spark of change often in relationships. And I felt resentful about this for so many years. I would ask my husband to read the book or listen to the podcast. We didn't really have podcasts back then when I was doing this, or go to, counselors with me, or go fix your own stuff and then come back. And I would feel increasingly resentful because he wouldn't read the book. He wouldn't be as enthusiastic as I was about the counseling or coaching. He wouldn't attend the workshops with me, for example. So I have just come to the conclusion that a good team is a diverse team, and that men and women often bring different things to relationship. And I don't think this is a cop out for men at all. I think it's just an opportunity for women to really shine in their area of expertise, which is emotional stuff and relationship stuff. And is that just biological, or is that something that our culture has created? We don't know, right? We don't, I mean, research shows that boys are encouraged to have, touch less and also have less emotional expression at the age of like 4 on. So I know we're changing that, but there's a lot of cultural stuff to go on. Okay, so that's a little bit of a tangent, but it's important to this conversation. So really the whole premise is of this question is a cultural premise, because we have this narrative going on. Men need sex, women provide sex for men. If woman is not enjoying or looking forward to sex, there's something wrong with her that she must fix, because she must keep her husband around and he won't abandon her. He'll still do his chores and his duties, and he'll still bring home the bacon, which leads a woman to feel like she's a defective partner, that there's something wrong with her that she needs to fix in order to keep her man around. You may think this is an archaic plot line, but it's not, because I hear it all the time when women come into my world and I work with them in the Wanting It More program. All the time. Do I wish it was different? Do I wish that women weren't coming to me out of guilt and out of feeling defective and feeling like they're broken and they need to fix themselves and they got to do this to keep their husbands happy? And if not, then disaster will strike. Of course, I wish it was different, but it's just not right now at the state of our society and our culture. I don't care because they come into my world and I help them create boundaries. I help them create or design experiences, sexual experiences that they're genuinely going to look forward to. I help them have a voice. I empower them. A lot of women come in to the program and say, wow, this is so different than what I was expecting. So that's the plot, that's the storyline that our culture is kind of feeding to us again and again and again. And we want to rebel against that storyline. We all do. I wanted to rebel against it, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. We're always doing this. Okay. So what if we could look at it from a different angle? What if we could look at it from women need sex, women benefit from sex, women are nourished from sex. If a woman is not enjoying or looking forward to or wanting sex, then something is off with her environment. Something's off with her thoughts. Something's off with her life. And now she's going to fix it, but not fix it for somebody else to provide a need, to be the good wife out of obligation. No, she's going to fix it for herself. And she's not going to think I'm defective. She's going to think something's off here. Something's off, that I'm not enjoying something that can bring me so much joy and satisfaction. So I know that sex isn't about providing needs for one another. That's reducing it to something that is just so basic and so sad because sex is so much more than that. But I have to do that just to keep it really clear here. So, really, what is sex really about? And I believe sex, well, in balance and when it's healthy, it's pretty light. Like, it's pretty fun. It's pretty relaxed. It's an opportunity for a couple to kind of shut the world out, to climb in bed together or wherever you may want to have your sexual experience and feel like the intimate friends that you are. The friends that are so special, and you can just cuddle down and enjoy and be curious and just really feel nourished from the experience and experience joy and experience freedom, freedom to kind of let loose for a little bit. If that's not the kind of sex you're having, then I'm going to tell you about a class that you really need to come to at the end of this. But we have to have that needs conversation just to look at this from the right angle. So let's look at a question that this woman shared in this context. So, do I have to do everything, including seduce myself? Or you could put something in there that you genuinely enjoy. Like, I love jazzercise. I love rollerblading. So do I have to do everything, including jazzercise? Do I have to do everything, including going for a rollerblade? Do I have to do everything, including yoga? I mean, insert anything. Now it doesn't make sense anymore, this, because it's not something that you're providing. It's something that you're actually taking from. It's actually of a massive benefit in your own life. Same thing as, I'm resentful for being given the mental load of improving our sex life, or I'm resentful at be giving the mental load of being creative and doing my art, my painting, or the mental load of relaxing in the hammock with a good book. So I really encourage you to make that mental shift from this old archaic story of sex is about providing this thing for men to keep them around, to sex is really good for me. It's nourishing for me. And I would never want to miss out. So what's going on in my environment, in my relationship, in my thoughts, in the way I'm using my voice and setting boundaries? What's going on here? And that, if you've been in my community or in my world for any length of time, you know, is my jam. That is what I'm about. So really, like, yeah, why would you want to have sex? What would you be missing out on? Because sex is not an exchange. It's not a gift. It's not a reward. You know, if he does the dishes, then he might get a little something something tonight. That's not what sex is meant for. It's not a gift, regardless of what you see time and time again in the media. If you look in memes and, you know, social media or sex scenes, I mean, or any sitcom, you'll see this thread, this really problematic thread running through it. That it's gonna, you know, it's this exchange, you know, do you do something for me and I'll do, you know, I'll give you a blowjob. Well, it's just creating really unhealthy dynamics. So, you know, couple more things is desire is told to us that it's external. You know, my husband needs to seduce me. He needs to do some work. He needs to groom or, you know, facial grooming or, you know, take out the ear hair, or he needs to dress nicely, or he needs to bring me flowers home, or he needs to smell good, or he needs to put the kids to bed, or he needs to, I don't know, use his body and language to somehow be the guy who gives me all the tingly feelings. But actually, desire is not external like we've been told. It's not about the hot moves and the big penis and all the things. It's actually internal. Desire is cultivated from within. And it comes from a place of following our intuition, radically trusting ourselves to what's good and what's not good in our lives. It comes from prioritizing our everyday pleasures, not just sexual pleasure, but every pleasure, you know, what we wear, what we look at, what we smell, what we delight in. It comes from connecting from our bodies, with our bodies, connecting, being kind, loving, being patient, being compassionate, understanding. So it doesn't come, I don't think anyone actually can seduce you. I think you seduce yourself, for lack of a better phrase. That is a little cheesy, but it's true. Okay, but men do have responsibilities in here. I'm not saying it's, the wife has to somehow do it all herself. No, because marriage is about teamwork. It's about coming together and you each have different strengths. I do believe the woman is a spark of change often in relationship stuff. That's a generalization. Gender generalizations are always generalizations, but that is something I really encourage women to not feel resentful around, but actually feel quite honored to have this ability. Now, team is about two people, and there's diverse strengths there as well. So when women come into the Wanting It More program, my husband and I have created a full program for their husbands if they choose to do so, if they want to, if they're willing, if they're the type that can sit through videos about relationships. And ironically, my husband never was. And here he is creating a whole program for men with me. So yes, and here are a few things that we ask them to do. Number one, listen and respect their wives. They have to listen very hard to get through all the cultural baggage, all of the stuff they've been told about women's desire and women's wanting and all of that. They have to respect, they have to listen, they have to stop when she says stop. They have all of the stuff that comes with respect. They have to mellow their sexuality, make space for hers. If they've been in this real kind of gropey, grabby, wanting me, that's not going to work. They have to calm down and allow her the opportunity to explore her own sexuality on her own terms in a safe way. They have to take care of their own happiness, because often that's messed up in relationships. We're expecting our spouse to make us happy to some degree. Like anyone can ever make us happy. It never works. And so men, when they get in relationships, they'll often put all their eggs in one basket and say, this is where I'm going to get my happiness from. And not only just my relationship with my wife, but the sexual relationship with my wife. Often orgasm is prominently featured in this need for happiness. So we encourage them to take charge of their own happiness in a variety of different ways. Eliminate all pressure. We give them a whole sheet of like an interview to interview their wives. What makes you feel uncomfortable? What do I say that makes you feel uncomfortable? What do you love? What you do not love? What have your experience been like? Let me listen and respect, going back to step one. Quit porn. Pornography is incredibly common and incredibly destructive to sexual relationships. It messes with your brain, it messes with your attachment cues, all sorts of stuff that we discussed in the program. And the last one is like we're all in a process of maturing. We're all emotionally maturing right now. And that's going to be an ongoing process for the rest of our lives. But it is a responsibility that each partner has. And often that looks like the form of not being defensive or criticism or criticizing or blame when your partner brings up something or makes a request. So many great so many great ways we can take this. And I'm so grateful that I got this excellent question, because I think I've gotten this question in many different forms, but I've felt like it's a hard one to answer because it's nuanced, and I'm very much a feminist. I'm very much a feminist, but I'm also someone who I'm very interested in how diverse teams work together, how complementary teams can work. And when you look at fairness, when you look at equality, really we're looking at equity, which is everyone gets what they need to feel safe and comfortable. So I hope that was helpful. If anything in this video piques your curiosity and you'd like to learn more about how I teach married women to want and enjoy sex more, I would love for you to come to my free live class. I'll put a link down below wherever you are, jannadentonhowes.com/free class. And it is the real reason behind a lack of desire and the 6-step solution to reconnecting again. I teach them live. I stick around to answer all of your questions. So if you have any more questions about this one in particular, I encourage you to come to that. And then if you're curious about the Wanting It More program, we start another live round at the end of May. And I would love to have you join that. If you come to the free class, you'll get all the info there. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you. Please ask me questions. I am available for question answering. So please, if you have another one, I'd love to know. Okay, talk to you guys later. Bye.